Hi, my name is Emily and welcome to Secret Parents. In today's video, I am so excited to share how to crochet this very, very easy and very, very elegant and beautiful crochet blanket. So this blanket uses the Jasmine Stitch, which is a very, very pretty, almost looks like a flower petal. There you can kind of see it's very, very pretty stitch. I absolutely love how it turns out, and I would consider this blanket a very easy and beginner friendly tutorial just because it uses a 1 row repeat, so you don't have to do anything fancy to make it. And I think once you get the little puff stitch down, it will be super, super easy. So let's go ahead and get started. Two things I want to mention before we jump into the tutorial is that number one, if you want to adjust the playback speed, so if you want me to talk faster or talk slower, you can just click the little settings or gear icon on the bottom right corner, I believe it will be. Click that button, that little gear button, and then you can hit playback speed, and then you can slow me down or speed me up if you want me to talk faster, if you're more of an experienced crocheter, or if you want me to talk slower if you are struggling with me going too fast. The other thing I want to mention is if you are right-handed or left-handed, I have tutorials for both of these on my YouTube channel. So if you are watching this tutorial and you're seeing the left-handed version, then you can check my description box or the link in the comments to see the right-handed tutorial. And if you're right-handed and are looking for the left-handed tutorial, you can click the link in my description box or in the comments below that, and I will send you over to the right-handed or left-handed tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started, and I can't wait to make this with you. So the supplies that you'll need today is some of this yarn. This is called Premier Serenity Chunky. So this is in the color Smoke. This is in the color White, I believe. And then the other color, which I know I have somewhere, but I cannot find it in my boxes of yarn, is the color Fog. And that's what I used. I used those three colors together to make a very, very beautiful blanket. So you'll need Premier Serenity Chunky. This is a number 5 bulky weight yarn, and it recommends a number 8 size hook. So that is what I'll be using today, and my favorite brand is Clover Amour. So I'm going to be using the 8mm Clover Amour hook. This is also called an L in the, I believe it's the US standard terms. Now you will be needing scissors, of course, just to cut your yarn, a darning needle. I somehow lost my larger darning needle, so this is just my small darning needle. And then you'll need stitch markers. These are optional, but I do like having them just at the ends to make sure I got all the stitches, but again, it's very optional. And these stitch markers just are like locking, so they're very simple, and you could just use a piece of yarn or whatever. So the design for this blanket is very similar to my last week's video for a blanket, but it's a little bit different. So I, a couple years ago, made my mom for Christmas, I believe it was, a blanket, and I used charcoal, that charcoal I just showed you, and the white, and then I used a gray that I somehow lost. Anyway, I wanted to do then a tutorial today about what I did and show you how to make the stitch, because it is absolutely stunning stitch. So this is what I did for my blanket. It's about 36 to 38 inches wide, just depending on your tension. Actually, I struggled with tension on mine because that was a couple years ago. I was still newer to crocheting. And so I, at the base of my blanket, had 38 inches wide, and then at the top, I ended up with 36 inches wide. So that's obviously not ideal, but that's how my blanket turned out. And I think I also did it over too long of a period of time. So I had different tensions, you know, over a couple months period. And then your blanket should end up being about 40 to 45 inches. And the roughly the width of, or the height of each of your colors will be about 5 inches. Whether if it's 4.5 or 6 inches, that's okay. But roughly about 5 inches is the goal. And so yes, so this is what we did. We did charcoal, gray, white, charcoal, gray, white, charcoal, gray, white. So we repeated charcoal, gray, white 3 times. So we are going to begin with the charcoal color. And I'm going to grab the center of my yarn. Here it is. There we go. And to begin, what you're going to do is you're going to make a slip knot. To make a slip knot, you're going to put the yarn at the base of your finger. Then I'm just going to hold it with my thumb, and you're going to wrap it around your finger twice. And you can just hold it however you want to hold it. Then you're going to take the back loop and bring it up and over in front of that loop. Now you're going to take the new back loop and bring it up and over and off your finger. And then you're going to tighten, and then you'll put it on your hook. So then you'll grab both strands and pull together, and you'll want to make sure it's a decently firm knot. So let me show you that one more time, and then we will begin our blanket. So I'm going to put the yarn at the base of my fingers, and then I'm going to wrap around twice. I'm going to take the back loop, bring it to the front, and then I'm going to take the new back loop, bring it up and over and off my finger. And then I'm going to tighten using both strands. So I'm pulling on both strands while it's still on my finger. There we go. Then I'm going to put my hook like that, and we're just going to tighten. Now, to begin, what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, and we are going to begin a very strange way. So like normally you do a foundation chain, but instead with this stitch pattern, you're doing more puff stitches. So let me show you what it looks like. So you can see at the base we didn't have chains. Instead we did like a horizontal puff stitches, and then we worked back into them. And you can see it creates the most beautiful like flower. It is so pretty. So to begin, you chained 1. Now you're going to pull up your loop a little bit. So probably like 1/2 inch to 1 inch. You can kind of see so here's the end of the chain, and I pulled it up like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, and then you're going to insert into that chain. Now when I like to yarn over, I prefer to hold it, because otherwise when you go in, it will make it really tight and hard to work with it later. So kind of hold it as you're going down. So even if you get kind of that big gappy loop, that's okay. So you're just going to yarn over, hold it as you're going down into that chain. So you're going to insert into that chain, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to pull that up. So you should have 3 loops on your hook at this point, 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to do that one more time. So you're going to yarn over, hold on that yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then pull that up. So like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pinch kind of where your strand of yarn is. So you're going to hold that. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to make sure you're holding that one strand of yarn, and then you're going to just pull through all 5 loops. Now, the reason that you're holding that yarn is you're going to insert your hook into that loop right there. Let's see, there you go. You're going to insert your hook into that loop, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. So that's like a single crochet, and that's just to secure the puff stitch. So now we're going to continue doing that. So let me just pull that out and show you that one more time, just to make sure you guys are clear. So we made a slip knot, then we chain 1. To chain 1, you're just going to yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to pull up your loop a little bit. You're going to yarn over, holding onto that yarn over. You're going to insert into that chain. You're going to yarn over, pull through, and you're going to kind of pull up to make them all level with each other. Then you're going to yarn over, holding onto that again, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then pull up. And you should have 5 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there you go. You can see, there we go, 5 loops. Now you're going to pinching where that strand should be. You're going to yarn over and pull through. So like that. And then you'll go into that loop that you're holding. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through, which just is a single crochet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue doing that same puff stitch thing. So we're going to pull up now again. And then you're going to yarn over and you're going to insert into that kind of that gap between where you yarned over and pulled through all of your puff stitches and then where you did your single crochet. So that kind of hole right there. Let's see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on my camera. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit better now. So you can see there's kind of that hole right there where my nail is now. And what we're going to do is you're going to yarn over, insert into that hole, yarn over, pull through, and pull that up. We're going to yarn over and do the same thing. So we're going to yarn over, holding that, yarn insert, yarn over, pull through. Now you should have 5 loops on your hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you're going to yarn over and holding that where you're going to yarn over. So pinching that kind of right at the base so that you get that strand. You're going to yarn over and pull through. You can see I'm holding that strand of yarn so that we can now insert, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through too. So there we go. You can see that we are beginning our really strange foundation chain of sorts. So we're going to continue doing that. Pull up, yarn over, insert into that hole, and I like to remember hold my yarn over as I go into that hole. And you're going to yarn over, pull through, and then pull up. So it's all about even. The goal is to make it even with your first loop that you did. Now you're just going to yarn over and insert into that same loop again. Yarn over, pull through. And then you're going to pinch there at the bottom so that you can grab that loop and yarn over. And remember, when you yarn over and pull through all 5 loops, it'll be really tough if you try to keep your hook sideways. Instead, you want your hook to face down, and it will and all the loops will come off way easier off the hook. So if you yarn over and put your hook facing downward, and as you pinch, make sure to pinch that so that you don't lose that strand. There we go. And then I'm going to carefully put my hook back into that strand, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. So there you can see we have begun our beautiful like puff stitch foundation. Absolutely love how that looks, honestly, already. So what you're going to do now is you are going to, I've got a little tangle, there we go. You are going to continue this, and you're going to continue for a total of 36 of these puff stitches. And how you count your puff stitches, it's pretty obvious, but I'm just wanting to make sure you guys see. So you can see there's like, if you pull on it, you can see that there's a hole between each one. And so that one is 1, then there's a hole, and there's another one, 2, and there's a hole, and then there's 3. So that is what it should be looking like. Very pretty. And honestly, as you begin, this is a little bit of a tougher thing to get the loops right and not make it like really curling and stuff. So just practice it a little bit. If you want to take them out and then redo them, that's totally fine. So I'm going to again pull up my loop, yarn over, and you're going to want to not go like super crazy high and then hold that. You're going to want to go about level. So everything's about level and nice and even, and you're not going to have weird loops sticking out the back. So about level, like that. And then you're going to insert into that hole right there. There you go. You're going to yarn over, pull through, and then you're going to do that one more time. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 5 loops on your hook. Make sure to hold, pinch that strand of yarn. I like to pinch it at the base. There we go. Yarn, pull through, and then insert back into that loop. Yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. So there you go. So you're going to continue that. You can see I have 4 done, and you're going to continue that for a total of 36. Now, if you wanted to make this a smaller project, you could make it like a coaster, a pot holder. You can really make this any size you want. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit of a little swatch because I currently don't have the yarn of this to make a full blanket, and I don't really have the need to make a full blanket. So I'm going to just make probably about 12 puff stitches, and then I will meet you back and we will begin row number 1. All right, so I just finished my 12 puff stitches, so you can count with me if you want to just make sure you're counting correctly. So there's 1, and if you kind of stretch it, it helps to be able to see. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So there you go. You can see, there we go. There's the last puff stitch, and I did my single crochet like we always do at the very end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to begin row number 1, and to begin row number 1, what you're going to do is you're going to pull up a little bit like we've been doing so many times before. So pull up your work, and then you're going to yarn over like we've been doing all along, and you're going to insert right into that single crochet, basically like we've been doing for the foundation puff stitches. So you're going to yarn over, insert into that same spot that we've been going all along, yarn over, pull through, and kind of pull up, and then you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and pull up again. So they're all about level. You can see there is what it should look like. And you should have 5 loops on your hook. Now, normally you would yarn over, or pinch, yarn over, and pull through. This time what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, and you're going to go into that next big space. So you can see here was the original space that we just went into. We have 5 loops on our hook still from that. And you can see there's 1 puff right there. Let's see. There you go. So there's that 1 puff. We're going to go into this space right here. So we went into here, now we're going to go into here. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and that was basically the same thing as we've been doing for the puff, and we're going to do that one more time into that same big hole. So you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and you're going to kind of pull up when you do that so that you're ending with the same still puff stitch. Now we're going to do that one more time into the very next stitch. So you can see we've gone into here, then here, and now we're going to go into here. So you're going to yarn over, holding that yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and kind of pull up. You're going to do that one more time. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. So now you can see we have 13 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we have a ton of loops on our hook. What we're going to do is you're going to pinch right once again. So pinch right there, your thumb and your finger as you pull through. Now, this is a little bit tricky to do, but trust me, it'll get easier as you keep practicing. So you're going to yarn over and turn your hook down. If you don't turn your hook down, it'll be so much harder. So make sure to turn your hook down, and you can kind of wiggle and turn your hook a little bit as you pull through. And I'm just going to, it's especially hard to do it on camera. I like to grab my pinky and my ring finger and hold it to help make sure it's pulled through. So now that you should have 1 loop now, and you're going to go right into that spot that we were just pinching. So you can see right there where my finger still is. We're going to insert, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. There you go. So you can see that is the beginnings of like what will be a petal or petals. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pull up again, and you're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert into that big hole that you can see that we just made. So right into that same spot. So you're going to yarn over, and you can see we just made that single crochet. We're going to go into the hole right there. There you go. So we're going to go into that big hole. So we're going to yarn over,
insert, holding that. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. And we're going to do that one more time into that hole. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. And you should have 5 loops on your hook. And you can see that's where it came from. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go into the hole where we did our last puff stitch out of. So you can see, I'm going to try to bring it as close as possible. So on the original one, we did 1, 2, and 3. We did it right here, we did it right here, and then we did it right here. And you can see what we're going to do now is we're going to work from right here where we did the puff stitch, where we did the last puff stitch of our last stitch, if that makes sense. Hopefully that does. So you can see that there's 1, 2, and we're going to go right into that hole. So it's the closest hole from where you're at. So there's that hole that we just did our 5 loops into, and now you're going to yarn over, and we're going to go right into there. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up a little bit, yarn over, insert again, yarn over, pull through, pulling up a little bit again, and then we're going to go into the next puff stitch. So we just went into the top and into the base of the last puff stitch that we'd made, and now we're going to yarn over and go into the next one right here. So we're doing basically 3 puff stitches into 3 different spots. 1, and then now 2. And now you should have 13 loops once again on your hook, and you're going to pinch your fingers right there, and you're going to yarn over, turn your hook down, make sure you do that, and then pull through. And I like to once again grab my pinky and my ring finger, I believe it would be called, and help it kind of navigate through. There you go. And you can see that is looking really good. Now you can see, make sure to pinch that that loop. You can go right back into that loop, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 2 loops. So there you go. You can see that it is looking really, really pretty. So now we're going to continue that. You're going to pull up, yarn over, insert into that big hole right there. Yarn over, pull through, and pulling up just so it's about level. Yarn over, insert again, yarn over, pull through, and pulling up to make sure it's about the same level. Then you're going to go into that hole where we did our last puff stitch out of. So you can see there's 1, 2 coming from that one hole. So now there's going to be a third. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up. And then we're going to go into the next kind of spot between the puff stitches. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again. Now you should have 13 loops on your hook. So we came out of the top, then that bottom one where we had done it before, and then this next puff stitch. Now you're going to pinch your thumb and finger. You're going to yarn over and pull through all of those 13 loops. And hopefully by now you can already kind of get the idea of what you're doing. So now we're going to insert into that loop again, yarn, pull through, and pull through all 2 loops. So there you go. You can see that that is just the very simple repeat of what you're going to do row after row after row. So pull up, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then do that one, making sure to pull up so you're about level, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and that's 1. Then we're going to go into this next spot, so you can see 1, 2, and it's at the, kind of the base. So you can see there's that one, and then this is at the base. We're just going to yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again, and then you're going to go into that very next big hole. In some ways, actually, for a beginner, this will be a little bit easier because sometimes it's really hard for beginners to know what chain they just went into. And with this, it's a little bit easier because you can definitely easily tell where you're going to go next. So now you're going to pinch, yarn over, pull through, holding that loop. Make sure you do not lose that loop, and pull through. There we go. Now I'm going to insert right back into that loop, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. There you go. We are continuing this row. So what you're going to do is you're just going to continue doing that, and then I will meet you back. And what you're going to do is you're going to work into the top, into this one, and then you're going to work into this very last where we did our chain to begin. So I will meet you back though, and we will do that together. So you're just going to continue now, pull up, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again, and you're just going to do that into the next one and into the next one, and you're just going to continue that, and then I will meet you back and we will do the final stitch together. One thing to note is, so you can see I have the 13 loops on my hook, and instead of struggling to pull to make sure your fingers are pinching it, what you can do is you can just put your stitch marker there at the base, right there. So you can see it can wiggle around, but you're just going to leave it down at the base, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 13 loops. There you go. It's a little bit easier, and then you can just pull that stitch marker out a little bit, and you can just adjust it so it pulls out a little bit easier. There you go. And you can just insert into there, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that can make it a little bit easier if you're really struggling to hold your fingers and then pull through. You can just use a stitch marker, and that will at least mark it, so then you can pull it up a little bit to be able to do your single crochet into. So now I'm going to continue, and I will meet you back. All right, so you can see that I came to my last, we'll call it puff stitch. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to do the same thing we've been doing. So pull up, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again. Then you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again. So you'll have 5 loops on your hook. Now you're going to go to the base of the, where you did your last puff stitch out of. So when you finish that last stitch, that's where you did your last puff stitch out of. There you go. Now you should have, and I did that twice, so yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pull up a little bit, and then do that one more time. And now we're going to go into that last chain stitch, and I think you'll be able to feel it pretty easily. So you can see here is my little knot for my slip knot, where my slip knot was. What we're going to do is you're going to yarn over, hold that yarn over down, you're going to insert, and you're just going to kind of make a spot to go into. And you can see that I'm going to go basically where the original puff stitch was. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up a little bit. Then you're going to do that one more time. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up a little bit. And now you should have 13 loops on your hook. You're just going to yarn over, pinching either with your thumb and finger, or if you want to grab a stitch marker, that's totally fine too. You're just going to yarn over and wiggle through there. And I'm just going to pull up a little bit so that I can grab where my stitch marker is at, and we're going to make a single crochet. So insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 2 loops, and there you go. You finished your first row of this beautiful, beautiful stitch. And so now we're going to begin row number 2. So for row number 2, what you're going to do is you're going to pull up a loop a little bit, like we have been doing all along. You're going to turn your work. And to begin, what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert into that big hole right there. You can see, there you go. There's that hole right there. We're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and pulling up so they're all level. And then we're going to do that one more time, like we've been doing all along. So you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again. Now, normally what you do is you would go into like the next 2 stitches, but instead, for just the kind of like the turning chain, what you're going to do is you're going to put your stitch marker or hold your fingers at the base, and you're just going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops in your hook. And you're going to grab that loop, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. So there you go. So that is kind of the turning chain of row number 2 and all the rows after it. So for the first stitch of the row, you're just going to do a regular puff stitch, and then now we're going to continue doing how we had done it originally. So you're going to pull up your loop a little bit, yarn over, yarn over, insert into that single crochet, that hole right there. Let me bring it up a little bit. There you go. You can see we're going to go insert right there, where you can see there's a little bit of a hole. So yarn over, insert, and that's at the very top. So you can see yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pull up to make them all level. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pull up to make them all level. Now you can see there's that big hole at the base where we just did that one single puff stitch coming out of there. So we're going to yarn over, insert into that big hole, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again. And now we're going to go into the next hole right there. So we went to that hole, now we're going to go into the next hole. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again. Now you're going to either hold your thumb and finger, pinch it right there, or you can grab a stitch marker, whatever you prefer, and you're just going to yarn over and pull through all of those loops. So that's a lot of loops to pull through, but you'll get it. There we go. Now I'm going to insert into that same loop that I was just holding, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 2 loops on your hook. And there we go. You can see that we just finished kind of the edge flower. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stitches coming, or 5 puff stitches coming out of that flower. You can see it looks so, so pretty. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue doing what we just did in each stitch across and for all of the next rows. So pull up your work, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, insert into that same hole, yarn over, pull through. Then you're going to yarn over, insert into that hole at the base, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pulling up again, and then you're going to go into that next space, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. You're going to pinch at the base, yarn over, pull through all 13 loops, and remember to always turn your hook down, otherwise it'll be so hard to get through all those loops. And you're going to go like that. You're going to insert, yarn over into that loop there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 2 loops on your hook. So there you go. So you're just going to continue that for each stitch across, and then once you reach the end, you're going to do the same thing that we did at the end of round number 1. So I'm going to go ahead, finish this round. I'll meet you at the end, and then I will give you the instructions to continue finishing your blanket. All right, so as you can see, I have one more of those puff stitch things to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my loop, just do it like normal. So like that, and then going into that next stitch. Now, where you're going to put your last puff stitch is just right here, where you can see we've done 2 puff stitches into that kind of hole. And so you're just going to kind of make that hole again. So kind of find that hole, and you're going to go into it. So you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pull up a little bit, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pull up a little bit, yarn over, pull through all 13 loops, which is a lot of loops, but there you go. Now you're going to insert into that loop, pull, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a total of 5 rows of this gray color. Then you're going to switch colors to the lighter gray, and then you're going to switch colors to the white. So let me show you now how to switch colors. So what you're going to do, let's pretend, and remember that the foundation puff stitch chain does not count as your first row. So this is row number 1, and this is row number 2. So now we're going to do 3 more rows of just doing what we've done this last row. And what you're going to do when you're ready to change colors is, instead of finishing that single crochet that we just did, so there you go, you can see we have the 2 loops. So we finished that that puff stitch thing, and then we inserted it into there, and you can see we have the 2 loops on our hook. Now all you're going to do is you're going to grab the gray yarn, which unfortunately I somehow lost my gray yarn, so I'm just going to grab my white yarn. And what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over and pull through. Then you're just going to cut your charcoal yarn. And you're just going to now begin working with your white yarn. Now, you'll see that this single crochet is wanting to get really huge. You're just going to kind of hold that down, and then later I'll come back and I'll show you how to tie in these tails. So now you're just going to continue on like you've been all along. So we have the white color. You're going to, sorry, you're not going to chain one. You're going to pull up your loop. There you go. You're going to turn your work, and you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then you're going to do that one more time, and you remember pulling up after each one, so like that. 5 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, because that's like our foundation or our turning chain kind of a sorts. You're going to insert into that loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. And now you're going to pull up, do the same thing we've been doing all along. So go into that hole right there, yarn over, pull through, and pull up, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. And my yarn is getting a little stuck, which is making me crochet tighter, but you're just going to continue doing that. So now you're going to go into this big hole, and then you're going to go into the next hole or space. So there you go, you have 13 loops. Pinch, yarn over, pull through all of them. And that is the super, super simple repeat that you're just going to continue to repeat for as long as you make your blanket. And I did 5 rows of each color, so let me show you my chart again, just so you guys get the idea of how to do it. So I did 5 rows of each color, and each like color block was about 5 inches, so about 1 inch per color per color. So I did charcoal, then that gray, then the white, then the charcoal, so charcoal gray white, charcoal gray white, charcoal gray white. And so that's just what you're going to continue doing for your blanket. Now, of course, if you want to make it a smaller blanket, or if you wanted to do something different, you can always change up these colors and change up the size. It's really up to you what you want to make it look like, but this is what I did, and so I just wanted to make it as simple for you guys to follow exactly what I did. So now I'm going to continue making the swatch so that you can see how it finishes up, and then I will come back and just show you how each of the stitches looks so you guys can get a bit of a better idea of just how it should look. And we will tie off, and I'll show you how to weave in the tails. Okie dokie. So as you can see, I've done several rows of this white yarn. Now, how do you count your rows? So this is how you count your rows. So what you do is you look at where your hole is. So you can see that this was where we did like that 3 clusters. So 1, 2, and 3. So that's hole number 1. So that means row number 1. Then you can see there's another hole, and you can see 1, 2, and 3. So that's row number 2. And then you can see right above that, here's another row, so 1, 2, 3. So that's row number 3. So we've done 3 rows here. So 1, 2, and 3. So you can see this is looking so beautiful. You can kind of, I hope you guys can see, yeah, you can see the beautiful stitch that it creates. So it creates like a 6-petaled flower. It's so, so pretty. So now that I am done with my little swatch, and you'll of course have more color changes and more rows to repeat than I do for my little swatch. So you're going to cut your yarn, and what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over and pull through to tie off. So let me show you that one more time. I want to be really clear and make sure you understand it. So you can see we did the last single crochet after our puff stitch right there. And now what we're going to do is you're just going to yarn over and pull through, so like a chain 1, and instead of like keep working, you're just going to pull up and then tighten that, and that is like a little knot. So there you go, that is your beautiful blanket. Congratulations for completing it. Now I'm going to show you how to weave in your tails real quick, just so that you can end up with a beautiful blanket and not have tails sticking out. So you're going to put your yarn on your darning needle, and to do that, what I like to do is I like to put the yarn over my thumb, And I apologize, this is a smaller darning needle than you normally like. And I'll put the link in the description box for all the materials that I used. But this, I'll put a link for a really good darning needle that I absolutely love. So what you do is you put the yarn over your thumb, put the eye, it's called, that hole, onto your thumbnail, and go like that to pull through. So pull that through. Now, what you're going to do is, I like to tie off in general with knots. So I'm just going to make a little knot. So I'm going to go through that single crochet right there. And I'm just going to make one more little knot. So by doing that, I'm just going to go through that single crochet like I did. Now you can see I have a little loop. I'm just going to go through that loop and tighten. And there is knot number 2, because when we first tie off, that's basically a knot. So now I'm just going to go through some of these stitches. And I just like to do this just because it hides it better than just having it at the very edge. You can see it way more if it's at the edge. So now I'm going to put my, there we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do one more little knot, probably hiding right there. And make sure though when you do this knot that you're not pulling it so tight that this corner becomes really wonky looking. That's not the goal. So there you go. You can see that that's really good. And you can do one more knot if you want to, or you can just cover up like you could and cut it off. And you can see it really hides in well. You can't even really see where it went. Now I'm going to show you how to tie off these where you did the color change. So what I like to do, and you can do it, I'll show you it 2 ways. So first way is I like to just make a knot, and then I'll do one more knot, just a standard regular knot. Then I'm going to grab the 2 ends and I'm going to put it on my darning needle. So I'm going to, and if your tails are kind of coming undone, just twist it in the way that the yarn should be twisted, and that will help to make it easier to get onto your darning needle. There you go. That's number 1 tail. And here is tail. Well, actually, I'm just going to do 1 tail at a time. So I'm going to go up to the white part because this is the white tail. And I'm just going to go through the middle. So I'm not going out of this side and I'm not going out on this side, just because it'll really hide well if you do that. So if you don't, make it go right through the middle like that. And you're going to want to make sure that you don't get it like super pulled together or tight from this. So like that. Now I'm going to grab my gray yarn. And if you prefer to not do knots, all you're going to do, so what I would do if I'm going to do a knot is I'm just going to go through this gray all the way over to where this white is, just do one more knot and then snip the yarn. Now if I'm going to do the no knot system, I would probably still do 1 knot just to keep it secure and not from getting a bigger hole right there. Or what you can do is you can go back and forth a lot of times. So I'm going to go through the middle. You can see I'm just going through the middle of these stitches. And once I get a couple of stitches in, I'm just going to go back. But I'm not going to go back into the same stitch right there, because if I were, it would just come right undone again and it would be right back here. So I'm just going to go in like 1 stitch over, and then I'm going to go back this way to the edge. It's a little bit hard to show on camera just because, I don't know, it's just a little bit tough to show on camera, but hopefully you guys are understanding. So now I'm going to go back one more time, and I find that about 3 times back and forth is good. So now I'm going to go like that and pull my yarn through. There we go. And now you can just snip your yarn. So that should be pretty secure. It shouldn't come out. I tend to prefer knots because I'm just a little, I like to make sure everything is extremely secure, but that really will not come out. So now I'm going to just snip both tails, and yeah, you have completed your swatch or blanket. Congratulations.
thank you so much for making this super fun crochet blanket along with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I make a new video most every Friday or Saturday, so I'd love to see you there. Also, don't forget to comment down below. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. It literally makes my day every time that I get a comment from you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!